Welcome, everyone who is watching this. I'm Backwater Jay. This is the second part of Last Ship to Lazmir, and hopefully the finale. Um, at this point,
Wow, you want it to be the end? Wow,
I
Jay,
do.
wow.
I do. No offense to anyone here, but I can't stand you guys.
Hey, that's just so rude. What the hell? And not really. We'll be back for next time.
By the way, let's make an effort to try to talk one at a time here. Particularly since there are some of us that are substantially softer than others. But yes, exactly. So speaking of which, I'm going to start going just down the list as I have the characters on my screen. So Inanna, or rather Vanessa, I should say. Go ahead and. All right, sorry about that. So Vanessa, go ahead and intro yourself as much as you'd like to, and your character.
Okay. Hi, I'm Vanessa. And there's not very much to say about me, except I'm a mentally ill 23-year-old. What's up? And then I am playing Inanna, and she is I don't have any of these. Alright. She is a chaotic, neutral, fallen Asmar with a bone violin made out of ligaments and femurs and a skull. And she's super cool.
She is super cool, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Jay already told me that she's his favorite character, guys. Just saying.
All right, and with that, that's going to bring us to Perry here.
Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here. I am Electro Ninja from Electro Ninja's Lab, and I am playing Perry. I am a Miraculous and My Hero Academia and lots of other crap YouTuber. And like I said, I am playing Perry. I am a Eric Hakra pirate who is disguised himself as a Navy captain because he used to be one, and it's super easy for him to pull it off.
Spoiler alert.
Yep, spoiler alert.
All right, and Deshauna.
Nobody else knows that.
Oh. Sorry, what you were saying?
I was just saying, nobody knows the fact that I am a frickin' pirate.
Just like nobody knew the fact that one character was a dragon. Oh, anyways, Talia.
She's not here.
Deshauna is not here?
No, she's not.
Oh, that person is not here, yes. Talia, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, or Deshauna, rather, can you introduce yourself and your character?
Daishana, and I play Talia, a sea elf who seems a bit nervous when she looks around at times. She's a bard and has a lyre made out of a turtle shell, along with some other things that might have been found around the water, or maybe like washed up on the beach. She has a little bit of a secret, but I'm not going to reveal that just yet. She also wears an amulet that seems like it could be important to her.
All right. And least but not last, we have Benjamin Fleeman, a.k.a. Thorgren.
Thorgren Sylvain is a dwarfish forge cleric. I want to bring glory to the dwarfish hordes.
We don't like them hordes. All right, and the rest of our characters are not here at this point. So, brief recap from last session. You all, as adventurers, had booked passage on the Colossal, which is a brand new ship that is a galleon-sized, basically luxury ship that is set out on a 3-hour tour. On a voyage across the ocean to the continent of Lazmir. Are you guys getting echo, by the way?
Huh?
Are you guys hearing echo?
No.
No.
Okay.
It might be me, and I apologize if it is, because you guys are on my car speaker right now.
It probably is, but don't worry about it. I just wanted to make sure that's, nothing avoidable. In any case, so you guys have set out on the Colossal, had disembarked, or not disembarked, rather, had embarked, and sailed out of harbor. The first evening, we had spent some time interacting with some of the colorful personalities on board. Toward the evening, however, you found the ship was under attack by some nasty-looking fish people who look like that. These were Sahagin, who basically had thrown spears on board the vessels, used the attached ropes to climb on board, and generally just caused carnage on deck. A few of them had snuck off, and long story short, when you had weakened their forces, they called the retreat, and that threat was gone. However, the aftermath of this, Inanna had dragged one of these fishman bodies up to the prow of the ship, and was starting to cut it open in an attempt to get some of its skeleton bits to use for a musical instrument. As this was happening, a giant worm, colony of worms type of creature, crawled out of this thing and attacked her, eventually paralyzing her and essentially crawling into her body, where it tried to basically coerce her into doing its bidding. However, this was dealt with when Thorgrin called on the power of this god whose name I will eventually remember. I should pull that sheet up. Called on the power of his god and forced this creature out of her. Eventually it was forced to beat a retreat. And in the aftermath of that, of course, you quickly dispatched the other, or threw overboard the other body that you kept around for examination. Let me know if I missed anything, by the way, while I pull this stuff up.
Yes, I wanted to mention.
You wanted to mention?
I said I
Yes.
robbed people.
Is that a dramatic pause, or did we lose you, Ben?
You didn't lose me. I was trying to be quiet because someone else wanted to speak.
I already said what I said.
Well, speak, damn you.
Go, Ben.
This is what... Stop. This is what I remember. That when this Sahagin attacked the ship, they ran below decks, did something. There was a loud noise and they ran out.
Yep.
There's something to be learned down there.
That said, let me real quick take you guys over to the map.
Oh, yeah, I can see the map perfectly.
Yep. So, yeah, Vanessa, it's very important you look right here on the map, because that's going to be important for later. Okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, good. For those of you tuning into this, Vanessa is joining us via vehicle very graciously, but if there is connection issues and or lag with her character moving, it's because I have to control everything on this end. And she is in her car and trying not to get killed.
Oh, was I supposed to not get killed?
Or trying to get killed, one or the other.
Yeah, don't get killed. That would be bad.
So basically, you guys had...
Come on, let me have fun.
No.
Hey, it's like the song says, girls just want to have fun, so let her have fun.
Yeah, let's use all the copyrighted material in this. So you guys basically had settled down in your various quarters and or up on deck if you happen to be dwarvish to try to get a somewhat restful night's sleep. So unless you are trying to do stuff in the middle of the night, go ahead and take your full rest. That means you're up to full hit points. I don't think anyone has spent hit dice, but if you do, you will get hit dice back. And you will get any spell slots that you have spent back.
Yep. And we already discussed my thing that I robbed people in the middle of the night.
You rob people in the middle of the night because you are a dirty criminal.
Well,
Yep.
you used your rat for that.
Okay, your rat is a dirty criminal then.
I would like to stay up, and I would like to begin an investigation above the lowest part of the ship.
All right.
Ooh, I will also
What-
follow you in that so that I can make lovely, hateful, dwarvish jokes.
Aww.
So Inanna and Thorgrin, I guess you are not going to get a long rest, at least not now. But you may go ahead and explore below decks. Is there something particular you're looking for, or just anything out of place?
Well, I guess it would have to be anything out of place because logic tells me that they went down there for a goal. So there's something either that they went to affect or went to take. We didn't see them take anything. Something they went to do down here that affects their goals, whatever those are.
Okay. And it is it's actually pretty early in the night at this point because the sun was basically had just gone down when this whole thing started. Let me see if they're...
I only need like 4 hours of sleep anyway, so we're good.
No, you don't.
I do.
You need, in order to get a restful sleep by game terms, unless you're an elf, you're going to need 8 hours. Not necessarily of sleep, but of rest.
I'm restfully investigating.
Anyways, so where do you want to begin your search? So you basically have this being your main deck here. You've got basically 4 access points to the next deck down, which would be over here, which of course then leads basically left to right across the map is down.
So I'd like to take the first one unless Inanna has another opinion.
What? Let's have another what?
Yes, do you have another what?
No, I just couldn't hear that last part that you said. Unless I have another what?
Do you have a reason to pick another entry into the lower decks other than that one?
Oh, no, you're good. Any entry is fine.
All right, so you guys
So,
then will head
Praise
down to basically you find yourselves here. Yep, you don't find yourself overboard, but you find yourself down in this section here. This is basically the immediate area to the aft of you is the first gun deck. There are quarters up in the prow. These are you would know these are basically the crew quarters area, and then you have some of the nicer quarters back to the rear here, and then back behind that you have the galley. You do see a few crew hands milling about on deck. You see. Let's see. Do you see anybody? And then that's going to be... Yeah, so you see Thorgrin. You see a woman that you recognize. or have run into at any case, with a. This is the woman that was reacting negatively to the rat. She is a very fancy, upper class lady, and she has with her a kind of an older nobleman who does not have artwork, unfortunately. So bear with me. Oh, I'm on. Those are on the wrong deck. Sorry. Let me put them where they belong. They're just kind of basically strolling together. They look like they're chatting.
So we're one level down from the top now?
You're one level down from. You see where Inanna is on over here on the map. So basically, this is the stairway you just came down, and there is, of course, one leading down to the next deck down.
Okay. So I would like to ask them if they saw where the monsters went when they came down here.
You mean those disgusting fish things?
Yes, Democrats.
Oh, yeah. Well, they appeared to be scampering all over the place. I got out of there as quickly as possible, too. Wretched beasts. And yes, quite right, says the nobleman. And they, while I made a valiant attempt to hold them off, they did not seem interested in combat, so they slipped past me.
Which direction?
Actually, at this point, yeah, they both kind of point in opposite directions. She points back here toward the passenger quarters, and he points up here toward the crew quarters.
Can Inanna say under her breath, "Fucking cowards"?
Yes, she can. And they can roll something to see if they hear that. Because that's what happens when you mutter things under your breath. And this guy, I don't think he has anything special for stats. Nope. He kind of, the older gentleman kind of looks at you, like, quizzically, but he doesn't say anything.
I'm hoping the woman hears it.
She seemed distracted, like, she's basically just acting like, oh, I don't want to be, interacting with this riffraff.
Fair enough.
Oh, dear Boris, I tire. We must retire, deal with the damage to my wardrobe. You understand. She kind of looks over at you and, like, it's not a question, it's a statement, like, I'm going.
Do you think the sea monsters damaged your wardrobe?
Well, take a look. She like, points down at her dress. There's, like, a tiny little, like, like, looks like basically a watermark, like, on the hem. This simply will not do. I was told this was a safe cruise.
Would you show us the dresser that they damaged, ma'am?
Oh, no. Dresser, no. God, no. They didn't get into my quarters. I hope they didn't get... Boris, we must go. And they...
I could have sworn she said dresser.
No, she said dress.
No, dress. The hem for dress.
Yeah.
So
they, at this point, unless you're trying to stop them, they are heading off at this point.
Oh, fuck. I wanted Inanna to, like, cut the watermark off the dress.
Roll? Yeah, actually, no, you can't roll anything. Let me roll you initiative. Just to see what happens. Select your character in case we need to go to tracker with this. Okay, and then we need to get her.
Oh.
Yeah, she basically is striding away faster than you actually can go for your knife and go for it, unfortunately. Were you trying to do this? Were you trying to do this openly or stealthily?
Oh, openly, definitely. It's not subtly. She was gonna cut it off for her and just say,
Yeah.
"There, it's fixed."
Yeah. She just kind of looks over her shoulder and, as she's walking away, looks at Thorgren and says, "Deal with that." She kind of jets her chin toward you.
Fucking bitch.
Holy cow!
I say that in
Language.
character.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as yours. So I believe that we've learned that they were on this deck, but I think we have no information about whether they went to crew quarters or passenger quarters. I think we should continue moving downward.
By downward, you mean toward the stern of the ship?
Downward is in lower decks.
Oh, downward as in just keep going down.
Yes.
1 second here. I need to roll something off screen. Okay.
I apologize, sir. Would you like to stay in one lane?
No, I would not.
Just kind of moving all over.
All right, so you go to the next deck down here.
Ooh, can Inanna, sneak up behind Thorgren and poke him in the butt? Just cause.
Dwarf dinner fest.
Why?
Okay. We'll call that a sleight of hand roll. Let's see what happens. Thorgren, roll me a perception.
Oh my goodness.
And the player versus player begins.
Huh?
Yeah,
Honestly, I
you
wouldn't
see
be
basically Inanna going for, basically she looks like she's making a move at your back. Doing something roguelike, no doubt.
You can't hurt me, so I allow it.
Okay.
What? I'm not poking him in the butt with anything sharp. I'm just trying to see if dwarves have any ass.
Well, first of all, you poke him in basically an armor plate. You feel like basically a light thud against the rear of your greaves, I guess they're called. And yeah, that's all that happens.
Thank you.
You should say thank you.
Thank you.
Just trying to see if you had any ass, that's all.
All I
Okay.
do.
Let the player begin. Okay, time to cause mayhem. So, quick question: do they see my rat while they're doing this?
Doing your rat or sleep.
I don't even remember.
When
that.
did you actually send your rat out?
Like in Frel.
Like was it
Right at the end?
Was it immediately after we left off last session? Or did you-
Yeah, I think
okay.
so, but for some reason it's not there anymore, so I don't.
Yeah, I think it was when we were going back to our rooms that you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let me
If we do see the rat, I would like to make friends with him.
He ignores you.
Fuck off.
unfortunately you do not see any rats. But you do make your way down to the lower deck. There is, again, several crewmen around. Looks like they're still kind of in the middle of just cleaning up after this battle. There is also, basically looking like he's, in charge and ordering these guys around. There is a hobgoblin gentleman. But basically, you see a towering man. He is completely bald. He's approaching 7 feet tall. And he's built as though he's chiseled from solid stone. He's got
Hello, honey.
he's got angular features. His head is adorned with a flowing runic tattoo. His skin is a pale shade of brick red, and is basically, as he bellows, like it seems like the very timbers of the ship are reverberating, like, "Oh, you lot, get that swabs over there!" And yes, as he's opening his mouth, by the way, you notice that he's got like sharp yellowish fangs, his canines are sharp and pointed. This is obviously a non-human. Matter of fact, Thorgrim, you for sure recognize him as a hobgoblin.
He looks like fun. Sorry. Oh my god. Holy fucking drive.
So, can I ask him a question?
You can ask him a question, yes.
Sir, you seem to be in a position of authority here. Were you here when the sea monsters ran down into the belly of the ship?
Well, it was all over the place, I was. What of it? He kind of just seems like really impatient
So
with
which
you.
way they went?
They went off. Buggered off like the yellow-livered sea monkeys they are. This
If they
episode brought to you
came
by sea
down, they
monkeys.
had- And I'd like to figure out what that is.
Sorry, I missed the first part of that.
If they came down, they had a reason, and I'd like to figure out what that is.
Well, just spreading mayhem like they usually does, whatnot.
Thank you.
See, I want to do something,
I like
but
to-
I don't want it to be weird.
Be weird.
Too late.
What if Inanna tries to seduce him for more information?
He's an
Okay.
idiot that has no information.
Huh?
No, this is, you are your own character, so you are definitely capable of doing that. Or attempting that, at least.
Attempting. I don't know. I mean, let's just say that I'm definitely the sexiest of the ship.
Speak for
Like, you
yourself.
look like you haven't had any sex in a while. Come on, buddy, give us some information.
Alright. Give you some information as soon as his sheet decides to open. I think I need to refresh this.
Sorry, I did not say that. I did not say that bluntly. That was out of character.
Hey, baby, I'm going to seduce you for information. Alright, there's your character sheet. This is going to be a... What do we call this? I think we're calling it a deception check because you're not really necessarily interested in him for that reason.
No,
All
not
right.
at all.
Let's see what he rolls. A plus. That's ridiculous. Okay. Yeah. Well, hello there, pretty thing. He kind of smiles at you, like puts his hand on your shoulder. Well, say you and me. He
Go
kind of he kind of does a thing and like gestures with his head to the back.
Inanna will kind of like put her hand on his chest and just be like, I think that's a fantastic idea for later, but if you happen to have any more information about them, I would love to get to the bottom of this and eventually you.
Oh.
You guys can hear anything I say.
Okay. Let's roll a persuasion for you. So that's what that sounds like. You both rolled 2s. But your modifier is significantly higher than his. Like, well, I suppose Swabbies can handle the dirty work. Can't you, Swabbies? And they got, like, these guys were already mopping furiously. They start, like, mopping so fast it's like they're going to burn holes through the decks. They are obviously, like, intimidated by this fellow. It's like, well, I don't rightly know. I've seen them. He kind of points you basically to the stairways you came down from. They looks like they was searching the decks. They some of them went up that way. He kind of points upward. Some of them went down below. Didn't see him come no go with nothing, but mayhap I could have missed something.
Okay. So she looks at Thorgren and kind of like gestures for them to go further below deck to kind of see like what they were after down there, and then they can move upwards. And then he gives his butt a light squeeze and says, "Thank you so much. I'll see you later." With a little wink.
Okay. He just kind of nods. I'll see you later. Does not seem particularly aware he's been played at all.
Hey, that's what you get with a woman with guile, you know? Alright,
Oh, we need to get
so
this
I guess,
guy off the map.
Thorgren, you want to go below deck?
Yes, now I want to let you know that I was right. You gained exactly 0 pieces of information that we didn't already know. We're running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, and there's no discernible pattern to their actions. But I'm glad
sorry,
you
are
had fun.
you jealous? Are you jealous?
I'm glad
Would
you
you
had
like me to
fun.
squeeze your butt?
I'm glad you had fun.
Oh, I always have fun, sweetie.
Thank you, madam. Okay. Yes, let's go below decks.
All right, so you head down.
I mean, if you're really feeling jealous, you know, I can give you the same treatment if you're really feeling that jealous.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's coming either way.
What?
I have a feeling it's going to happen either way.
Let's see. So is there anybody down here? There is nobody that you can see down here. It is, by the way, very dark. You guys both have dark vision,
night
though.
vision.
You guys both have night vision, actually, which means that basically you can see about 60 feet, which is, count this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. You guys basically see up to about here from where you're currently standing, with no lights, assuming no light sources. It is dark down here. Like I said, there's nobody that appears to be around. There are crates and boxes and barrels and just all sorts of luggage of various shapes and sizes kind of piled loosely in 2 rows, leaving an aisle down the middle.
I have a feeling that we should be looking for anything that looks like it's been torn open or damaged on purpose.
Okay, I would like you to go ahead and roll me a investigation check.
What about an investigation slab?
Okay, and let me roll one for Inanna. I'm assuming you are helping.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not very helpful.
You should be doing more insulting and less helping.
You find that despite your best efforts, you can't seduce any of these barrels.
I was trying so hard.
No, Inanna can't. You definitely could seduce them if you wanted to. Some of the barrels remind you of the Cumler Dwarven lasses. Um, you don't seem to find anything out of the ordinary. It's hard to say for sure because you haven't really explored down here. But it looks as though basically stuff has been stacked here and more or less left where it was, apart from various where you can see the areas where the various rations are. Obviously, things have been dragged out and moved around as people need to be fed and whatever.
I think if creatures came from underwater with no tools to break into stuff, it'd be obviously broken. It would not be broken into expertly. It'd be broken into chaotically.
Yeah. No, you don't see anything that obvious. However, you do see some wet footprints that look like they probably belong to these creatures.
Do they lead in a direction or just sort of in and out?
They're just kind of in and out. I mean, looks like whatever it was kind of wandered around. So you don't have survival, do you? Probably not.
I have a survival pack.
Why don't you roll me a straight wisdom roll, if you could? Okay, that is a wisdom save, so it's got more stuff added to it. So that'd be a +3 or -3 from that, which would be a 14. Yeah, it just basically looks like these things kind of wandered around and apparently headed back. It looks like there was one of them, I should say, that wandered around, headed back toward the upper decks.
So,
what that tells me is that whatever they're looking for was obvious, and you wouldn't have to tear open a box to get it. If you walked into a room, whatever it is, they would see it.
so then I'm supposing, I'm not supposing, I'm assuming that we should go back above deck then, at least to where.
I think there's one more deck down lower, isn't there?
This is actually the lowest of the decks. Beneath
Is
this
there anything else on this deck?
after looking around, I mean, it's just basically various crates and barrels, supplies. There's a few tools and ropes and things like that, but nothing out of the ordinary for a ship's hold.
Okay, I think Inanna's correct. We need to go back upward.
Okay, so you guys move to the next deck up. You wanted to do an in-depth search here?
Yes.
Okay, move you back up here just for the record. Oh, hang on. No, that was the lowest. Just making sure I was right on that. This guy's gone at this point. And then go ahead and roll it again. Investigation. You see, as it is on the map, I mean, primarily the actual supplies are in the aft portion of the ship on this deck. There are banks of cannon along both sides. There is a few boxes also stashed up in the prow section. The cannons and the boxes, again, don't appear to have been messed with, though there are... Inanna, at this point, you do spot some watery footprints, but there doesn't seem to be anything in an actual trail for you to follow. Just here and there you see, the watery splashes that shouldn't be there.
What I'm hoping to find is either a box that looks like it's been torn open by force, or an area where it looks like a box is missing.
Yeah, you don't find anything of that variety.
Okay.
So, do we go up again into the, the cabin quarters, like where that guy was pointing earlier? And because he had pointed down, and then he had also pointed upwards back towards kind of the cabin area.
Yeah. Yeah, you realize based on his description that there were, a few of them, that, if not many of them, that got below decks and essentially split up. So they could have basically gone anywhere on the ship, based on his description.
I think we're going to have to find a way to search both the crew quarters and the passenger quarters. And I believe that we can get access to the crew quarters through Inanna's special friend. And I think I have to find and ask the captain if he will allow me to investigate the passenger quarters.
All right, so how are you going to go about doing this?
Well, technically, we know that Inanna has a friend.
Yeah. So I guess we should go find the friend.
Okay, you go find your friend. Basically, he is actually being not a subtle person. You do eventually find him basically in amidst the various crates and everything. It's like, oh, there you are, love. He's like sipping on a flask, and he kind of pulls it over to you.
Sitting on a what?
He's sipping on a flask, and he offers you some, essentially.
Okay. Well, I will take the flask and I will take a sip from it, and say,
Sorry about that.
no, you're good.
And all his hand buzzer went off, apparently.
Yeah, it was trying.
Thank you. I was wondering if we could take a peek around the crew quarters, and see if anything is disturbed there, and perhaps show me yours while we're at it.
All right. We're going to do another persuasion roll, are we?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's see what you rolled here. That's a pretty good one. Well, if you put it like that, he kind of like drapes his arm around your shoulder. And leads you up. Actually, he does lead you up because the crew quarters are up on the next deck up. So basically, it takes you past where Thorgrin is there, up the stairs. Let me just move you guys as a unit here. So he will basically, he kind of, first of all, there's two doors on this side here. And he says he basically he kind of looks at you and says, "This one's mine over here." And he kind of starts walking toward this door, opens it up. There is actually a very well kept quarters. The bed is immaculately made. Everything's ship-shape in there.
Oh, surprisingly nice. I mean, all the considering it's a ship and there's water.
Would you like to have a closer look then? Eh?
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Would you like to have a closer look then? Sorry, this guy's accent is going all over the place.
Could you perhaps show me the other quarters first, and then we'll come back?
Fine. He kind of basically goes over here, knocks on the door. Oi, Sarah, you in there? See if she is. There is no answer. So basically, he takes a key, opens the chamber. There is again a very well kept. This one's probably even better kept room. I mean, it's like to the point where the person might have OCD that was keeping it. Does not appear out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Are you trying to search these rooms, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me roll.
Just kind of trying to see if anything's like messed up, or if anything's like missing, you know?
So are you just looking inside, or are you actively going in there and, like, you know, looking under the bed, opening the drawers, things like that?
I feel like it might be really suspicious if I, like, go in there while he's watching me and, like...
So you're just glancing from the doorway at this point and seeing if anything's out of place.
Basically, I might attempt to steal his key later.
Okay. So, satisfied? He basically says, yeah, that one there belongs to Sarah Sims, the navigator. And then he leads you basically up here. These opens the first door here. These are definitely less well kept. Matter of fact, he kind of looks in there and scowls. There should be actually more bunks in here. I kind of ran out of space, but looks like kind of a group crew quarters type of situation. Actually, hang on. Let me make sure I'm on the right spot in the map first of all.
I mean, I can't see it, so...
Yeah, that's fair enough. So basically, you see there's a room with, you know, kind of a row of about 3 bunks in it. And he kind of actually scowls as he noticed, you know, 1 or 2 of the bunks are kind of, you know, disheveled, you know, not, you know, really well made. There's some clothes lying on the floor, you know.
Someone's getting pulled over. Someone's getting pulled over. Sorry.
But yeah, so basically he explains to you this is you know, the common crew, one of the common crewman barracks.
Okay, and like from the doorway, I can't really see anything in the mist.
Let me roll something for you. Yeah, I mean, apart from what I described, you know, it looks like a, you know, somewhat disheveled crew quarters.
Okay. Okay.
So moving to the next.
Yeah, just like, shall we move on to the next?
Yep. So he goes across the hallway here, and he opens up the other door. Again, similar type of situation. It's a little bit better maintained. And you do spot some wet footprints in here.
Leading anywhere particular, or?
Again, it's not that you necessarily have a trail of them that you can follow, but you notice that there's, you know, here and there, just what looks like a wet kind of webbed footprint or partial footprint.
So it doesn't really look like they stopped at one particular spot.
Not enough information to tell. Actually, let me roll, just to be fair, let me roll you survival here. Because you do have a decent wisdom. Yeah, actually, it looks like they stop at one of the bunks. It's the second bunk down in this chamber.
Okay.
And then essentially it looks like they've turned around and, you know... Again, there's not really any kind of trail for you to follow, but it looks like they basically went to this bunk, turned around, and went back.
Okay. So, like, but the bed is still made? It still looks like it's well kept, or is that... No.
This bed looks, you know, a little bit disheveled. It's not like it had, like, somebody had just woken up and not made the bed or anything like that, but, you know, it's not tip-top shape.
Okay, but it doesn't look like somebody just, like, rifled through it or whatever?
No.
Okay. All right. Moving on, I suppose.
Moving on. Let's see, is there any more crew quarters that you haven't seen yet? Oh, this is the captain's quarters, which he's not allowed to let you into. That's,
Jason,
yeah.
I should have mentioned this earlier. I'd like to try and stay close enough to where she is that if she ends up in any trouble, I can assist, not hovering.
So you're trying to, you know, basically maintain a distance and, you know, stay out of sight, but keep an eye on her kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
This could go sideways, I don't know.
Go ahead and roll me a stealth roll, please.
Those are delicious with butter and jam.
What?
A stealth roll is delicious with butter and jam.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. Let's see if he notices anything. Oh. You see him every once in a while just kind of look over his shoulder in your direction, like, not like threateningly, but like, yeah, I know you're there, kind of thing.
Fine. I may accomplish my goal on its own.
Oh, and...
He doesn't think that she's entirely alone.
Right, exactly. Roll 4. Inanna, you are clueless to being followed by this heavily armored dwarf who is somehow very sneaky.
Somehow.
I don't know.
See, I don't know. I don't feel like I need to be very perceptive in these situations.
Yeah, you're focusing on what information there is to be had from the rooms. You're not necessarily looking to see if somebody's following you.
Exactly. I don't necessarily care about that. I just care about getting information out of this dumbass.
But yeah, at this point you have basically seen all the crew's quarters that he is allowed to show you.
So he's not allowed to show me the captain's quarters?
Well, you'd have to get the captain's permission to do that, because the captain's the captain.
Which I think I can do.
This guy is a high-ranking officer, but he is not the captain.
But he might possibly have a key for the captain's quarters, would he not?
You don't know? It's actually... Oh, what kind of check would that be? See if there's anything you have that would be relevant. I'm just going to roll a straight intelligence for you, because you don't have any relevant skills to know. He might have a key to the captain's quarters. I mean, there should be a spare on board, you would think.
Yeah. Let's see. I kind of point to the captain's quarters, and I'm like, can I see in there? As I kind of move my hand to gently caress his chest.
Afraid that's a bit of a major breach of protocol there. I didn't catch the name, by the way.
My name's Inanna.
Inanna. That's a pretty name.
But I'd love to see what's inside. It can show me, and perhaps I can show you something new too.
Okay, I'll call this one a persuasion with disadvantage, because you're at this point asking him to act against the authority in place. It would have been a natural 20, but actually no, it wouldn't have, because that's the second roll. And we roll. Oh, good grief. Why do you suck? Alright, you need to be very quiet about this. The captain finds out he'll have my head. And I don't mean that figuratively. At this point, he leads you up. The captain's quarters are actually on the next... off of the main deck. So you basically go above decks for a brief moment of time. And then, whoa. Why
Wait,
is it
I was
changing?
successful?
You were successful, yes. You are very persuasive.
Apparently.
So now let's see at this point. Vanessa, I want you to give me high or low.
High or low?
Yeah. Just tell me high or low.
Low.
Okay. He kind of looks around, doesn't look like there's anybody watching, sneaks a key out of a, basically, he's got one of those kind of chains on his coat and is sneaks a key out of the pocket that's attached to the chain. Very nice looking silver chain actually, and puts it in the lock, turns it. You see basically there's a very spacious quarters. It essentially fills up the entire last 20 feet essentially of the vessel. So it's a nearly rectangular chain, more of a trapezoid because it's in the aft, but it's got a table with some chairs. It's got a dresser off to one side. It's got a bed, various furnishings, obviously, that you would expect to find in quarters. And there's no one here. It is dark, but looks well kept.
Do I see any wet footprints in there? Anything
You did not.
Or
Oh, actually, hang on. I have not rolled for you yet. Let me do that now, before I tell you what you do and don't see. Yeah, you do not see any, evidence that this room has been tampered with. Just at a glance, anyways.
okay. Okay. Well, she kind of thanked him for showing her around.
Right, so straight to it then.
Huh?
Right, so straight to it then?
Do I have anything where I could, take him back to his quarters and put him to sleep?
Let's see, what do you have?
Whether it's, playing on my violin or whatever.
You don't. You have a lot of, fear effects that you can do with your violin. You could... You have suggestion that if cleverly worded might get him off of your case.
Okay.
Do you know how suggestion works?
It's basically speaking word, right?
Think like Jedi mind trick. You basically you don't force him to do a certain course of action, but you convince him that something is true. You could say, I'm repulsive and you really don't want me, kind of thing.
I will say, so I'll use suggestions.
Okay.
And I will say, what are you talking about? We've already had the best time of our lives, and I've pleasured you so immensely.
Oh, right then. Sorry. Hang on. He needs to save, doesn't he? And your save DC is... This may be a formality. That is going to be a wisdom save, I think. Look at your spell description real quick. Wisdom saving throw. Okay. So... Look, Inanna, let me level with you. I've had a bit to drink. I haven't had that much to drink. Are you just brushing me off after all that?
Of course not. Why would I ever lie to you? I mean, you are just so big and so amazing. I'd love to come back for seconds, but unfortunately, I have to finish my mission.
You can't come back for seconds if you haven't had that first helping yet, eh? Hey, what's your real game here, Inanna?
Why, only to get with you, of course. I'd love to see more.
Well, then let's get to it then.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Am I aware of these sounds of conflict coming from there?
You've been following them, correct?
So, do I hear them raising their tones and getting conflict happening.
I'm not raising my tone.
Roll me an insight. Yeah, it seems like there's some kind of like conflict going on here. Not heated, but there's definitely a disagreement.
If it gets more intense, I'm going to intervene with the Soul Forger.
Help
Okay.
convince him that I've already slept with him.
Unfortunately, he rolled well on a saving throw, and that's a chance you take when you cast spells.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm quite sure that we've done it already. Why I'm surprised I'm not sore and unable to walk.
Like I said, I don't know what your game is. I know you've been poking around decks, and you act like you talk a good talk, but what are you really after? You and that dwarf friend of yours? Yes, I see you.
Well, if
She
you're
and I have business elsewhere.
Something for him.
Hello?
Yes.
I say to the captain, she and I have business elsewhere.
Are you trying to say this in a threatening manner?
In an informative manner, like she's
Okay.
got to go.
All right. Roll me a persuasion check, please. What is your... Right, you see to your business, but the captain will be hearing of this.
I would like to take this up with the captain immediately. Where can I find him?
Oh, really? So you'd like to speak with the captain about showing me his quarters without his permission? Aren't you afraid that that's going to get you in more trouble than it is us trying to investigate an invasion?
No, I believe that once the captain hears all the information I have, he's going to thank me for my help.
I'm not talking to you, Thorgan.
All right, so
Wait, that's something I was going to ask. Do our characters know each other's names? By the way,
based
Well, I
on what
think
happened
we
last
must.
session, I think you guys have been somewhat. Perry, I know, is known by name to at least some of you because he's been introducing himself to everybody.
Dumb parents, yes.
But yeah, I'll leave that to you guys whether you know each other's names at this point. Thorgrim, you definitely know Anana's name because she told it to this guy.
I saved her life.
No, but speaking to the other guy and saying, like, you say that the captain's going to hear of this, but you showed me his quarters without his permission. I thought he would have your head for that. But if you're so concerned about it, I can come back later and prove to you that you've already quite enjoyed me once.
Oh, okay. That sounds like an intimidation to me.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Fine, go your way, but don't expect any favors from me, and that includes you. You want to talk to the captain, you find your way into his... find your way to him yourself. He's a very busy man.
Thank you so much for your help, sir.
Get out of my sight.
That's all for now,
Thank you.
baby.
So I believe we're going to go try and find the captain.
Yep.
So we are in the crew. Okay, it's nighttime that he was not in his quarters. Is that correct?
Yeah. It is also in the
Interesting.
aftermath of an attack, so it's understandable that he's not in his quarters.
Good point.
So how are we going to handle this? Yeah, why don't you roll me, and I'm just going to speed this up and just call for one investigation check and just call that you searching the whole ship for him, essentially. Oh my goodness, okay.
What happened?
You rolled a natural 1. Oh my god.
Wow.
That is the second time in as many sessions we've had that 1 in 400 chance of rolling a natural 1 and then a natural 1 for severity. What does that even mean?
I walked my head into a wall.
Thorgrim, you're up on the main deck. You're looking for the captain. You notice, walking along the deck, smoking a pipe, there is this... let me show this guy to you, if I can find him.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Let's get rid of this
Am
guy.
I not with Thorgren right now?
You can be with Thorgrim if you want to.
Yeah. Might as well get away from that other guy.
Where did Thorgrim's token go? Oh, there he is. So you notice Thorgrim up on deck. This guy that you know must be the captain, because he is an impressive-looking gentleman. Navigate my slew of windows here. So basically, the man before you is clearly reptilian in nature, but long and willowy, built like a crocodile or even a gavial, if such reptiles could stand erect and smoke elegantly carved pipes. Let me show you guys this picture full size here. His attire is startling in the stark blackness of it against his red scales. An actual cut is unassuming. Small webbed frills adorn his ears, and his eyes are an unusual shade of copper gold. You do see, as he's smoking, like puffs of smoke actually escape his nostrils, as well as the pipe. But you're sure this must be the captain.
I address him. Thank you, Captain. I am Thorgrim Steelvein, Hill Cleric of the Dwarf God. I come to you in concern, noble concern, that when those dastardly sea monsters broke onto this ship, they ran downstairs and did something, and came back out after they'd accomplished their dastardly deeds. I think it's in the interest of the greater good that you allow me to help you by letting me investigate all the crew quarters to try to figure out what those monsters did while they were below decks, sir.
This guy has been basically sputtering and trying to get a word in edgewise through that entire monologue. I understand your concern, good sir, but I am not the captain. Licorus Filk at your service. Philosopher, I suppose, is the title of most appropriateness.
All right.
I thought you said he was the captain.
You were certain he was the captain.
Well, that's my one. That's my natural one.
That's your natural one, yes.
Okay. What do you think about this strange mystery that has come upon us, sir?
You said they snuck below decks, left as quickly as they came. The logical conclusion would be that they either took something or they left something. Perhaps came to sabotage the ship, but if that were the case, why would they not just do so from underneath? They are, after all, aquatic. This requires some thought. He kind of goes to the railing, kind of leans over, pensive looking, like almost ignoring you and stroking his chin.
I'm listening patiently and respectfully.
Actually, let's roll something for you, the chorus. What do you got here? Yeah, that works. Goodness. Perhaps there's some cargo, some trinkets, some person, mayhap, that they were looking for and they did not find. Perhaps this whole scenario has simply been a case of mistaken identity.
So someone who is not who they appear to be.
Did I say that? I don't believe I did.
Maybe.
You implied it.
No, what I meant to imply, and you may of course infer what you will. Your mind is yours to use. But what I meant to imply with that, where was I? Yes. What I meant to imply is perhaps that the thing that they were seeking is not aboard this ship.
Or perhaps you meant to imply that you are truly not the person you say you are.
Are any of us really the person that we say we are? Or are we merely tools to be played about by the gods and the fates?
Alright, Thorgrim, he's boring. Can we go?
I would like to figure out if he is who he says he is. Can I do some kind of perception
You may
check
roll
or something
me
like that?
a insight.
As I think he's hinted quite loudly in my face.
He appears to be above the board. Like, definitely an eccentric, intellectual type of person, but doesn't seem to be hiding anything, if that's what you're getting at.
Do you know where the captain is?
I do not know where the captain is. Last I saw him, he was. He kind of points toward the aft, toward the poop deck. Whatever that portion of the ship is called.
Can you describe him?
Yes, the captain is well, he's human. Of course, most of them are human. Has a very large, how do you call it, mustache. Very large hat with a feather in it. I believe is the only one on board with such a hat. You would know him if you see him. I'm sure.
Thank you, sir.
You are quite welcome.
I'm going to go along with Inanna and begin searching toward the poop deck.
Okay.
Let us never talk to a philosopher again. I'm bored out of my wit's end.
Oh, if we were using inspiration for this, but we're not. So you guys make your way up to the poop deck. Roll. Ben, at this point, tell me high or low.
Low.
Okay, you walk up to the poop deck. Yes, I'm going to say that word as often as I can. So you see, basically, this is the definitely the tallest portion of the ship. You can kind of look down and see, essentially the entire ship from there. There is a large, of course, wheel where actually there is a pilot here steering the ship. Yep. And we'll just put him on top of the wheel. That works. And then beside him, you see what appears to be, based on the chorus's description, appears to be the captain. Let me give you a description of these two fellows. So first, the pilot. He's a short, mousy man, has broad of shoulder and bulbous of belly. He has dirty blonde hair that falls loose over his shoulders. Let me enlarge this guy. And His uniform appears to have been originally sized for a significantly slimmer man. He is at this point focused. He's kind of basically correcting course for the chaos that happened before, essentially. The captain. Oops. That one. He stands well over 6 feet tall. He's dressed in a formal coat and hat. He has an auburn mustache that's neatly waxed and curled. Extends well past the sides of his narrow face. He wears an ornate saber and a folded spyglass at his waist. And he has a well-oiled walnut crossbow over his shoulder. He appears to be basically instructing the pilot at this point as you come up. Due to the weather and stuff, you can't really hear what he's saying at this point. But he does kind of notice you and look over at you.
Hail, good captain. I come to offer my help.
Your help, you say?
Yes, I am Steelvein, the cleric of the god of the hill dwarves. I noticed when the sea monsters came aboard ship, they ran downstairs, below decks. They did some nefarious business and they ran away. It is my belief that the threat is still upon this ship. But whatever they came to do, they did, and that there needs to be an investigation. I want your permission to investigate all of the quarters.
All of the quarters, you say?
Yes, no one is safe.
Would be a definitely unusual request, but definitely unusual circumstance. Why don't you roll me a persuasion, please? Yes, under the circumstances, yes. That would be wise. Are you... You're just mentioning about the guys going below decks, none of the stuff that happened last session, right?
Correct.
Well, I mean, none of the other stuff that happened last session. Yeah. Please, head up this...
I'm assuming he knows about the battle.
I'm talking about what happened with Inanna at the prow, in particular.
Oh,
Don't mention that. Don't mention that. Don't mention that. Don't mention that.
my friend didn't have any strange misadventures to know.
Very well. It seems meet. You conducted yourselves bravely in the battle. Certainly, were an asset to this ship. You have you've proven yourself worthy of my trust. I would ask that you be discreet about this. The passengers are frightened and startled, and rightly so. So please be courteous, be discreet, and as respectful as you can.
So all I must say is that the captain has given me permission to, and provided I do so politely, that should be fine.
Yes, that's the gist of what you're
Thank
getting
you.
from him. Also, he hands
Thank
you
you, good
basically
captain.
basically a what looks like a skeleton key. This should open any of the quarters that are currently closed. I of course ask that you would return this to me once your investigation is concluded.
Of course, good captain, and your trust is correctly placed in me. I will not fail you.
Yeah, let us hope not.
We make our leave and go to investigate. I want to start at the captain's quarters.
Okay. So you start at the captain's quarters.
I would like to persuade Thorgrim to give me the key.
You're gonna have to do that in character. I'm not gonna do player versus player roles with this, if that's what you're asking.
What?
I'm not gonna let you just roll against him and persuade him, if that's what you're asking. So do it in character if you're gonna do it.
Okay, hold on. Thorgrim, you have so much on you already. Perhaps it would be best if I held on.
Though it seems to be that a long time ago, I asked a friend, it seemed to me that a long time ago, I asked a friend for a favor, and she graciously said she would. And I feel that this is the time to repay that favor.
So I can have it.
Here's the key.
Thank you.
Although I hope you learn there's more than one way to get permission from people.
Oh. Alright. Sounds like a plan, big boy.
Okay,
Alright,
so Inanna,
that's,
you now have the skeleton key. Are you, so you heading to the captain's quarters?
Yeah.
Okay, you head to the captain's quarters, taking a good look around at this point, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, so both of you, and I will roll for you, Inanna, investigation check.
I'm not very good at this whole.
Do I do an investigation check as well?
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
do I do an investigation
Yes.
check as well? Okay, good.
Okay, so yeah, you find basically there is, basically there is a closet area that has basically clean pressed uniforms in it. There is a cabinet that's got, basically various knickknacks. It's got a bottle of port. It's got some like a small ornate globe kind of up on top of it. You don't find anything out of the ordinary in here. There's nothing under the bed. There's nothing hidden in the closets that you can tell. There doesn't appear to be any kind of wet footprints in here.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Oh wait, no,
Okay.
that's right. No, this was not one of the places you spotted wet footprints. I want to keep my story consistent. I apologize.
I wonder, though, if they didn't go in here, maybe they knew that there was nothing in here. Maybe they have an inside source about where to search and not to search.
Perhaps.
Okay, there's nothing else to learn here other than that maybe. So, navigator Sarah Sims.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why she'd even have a name if she doesn't have interesting clues. It's kind of meta, I know, a little bit meta.
Very meta.
Okay, can we meta go there?
You can go there,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
I mean,
Where are we going?
Navigator's
Sarah
quarters.
Sims, the navigator. Yeah.
Okay.
He was actually a character who's been interacted with, but not by you guys. So you guys go.
Is that the one that Perry brought his cigarettes from?
No.
Wasn't the navigator a female?
Yep.
Sarah.
Yeah.
A dude named Sarah.
Yeah.
All right. So investigation once again.
Yes.
Apologies, Dysana and Electra. I know that this is kind of leaving you guys out, but it's what happened to be happening.
Sorry, like I said, but Talia went back to her room to rest. So.
Yeah. So
And Perry is also resting, but also having his rat steal things.
So, Perry, you found the restroom okay?
okay, so we've got. So you turn up. Again, there's a much smaller quarters here, but it's well kept. There is, again, a wardrobe. Doesn't appear like anything has been touched in there. There is a desk here. It's got some basically papers on it. Inanna, you basically using the skeleton key. There is a small locked drawer in the desk. You pull open. There is what appears to be a journal or diary of some sort.
Ooh, can I read it?
You can definitely read it. You can skim through it at least. It's got a lot of text in it. But you skim through.
Anything juicy. I want to know some juicy drama.
This does not appear to be one of those kind of diaries, just at a glance.
How
window.
boring.
Right, where is that window? There we go.
Can we check for invisible ink?
Ooh. Does anybody have fire? I love
Yes.
fire.
So there is basically, there appears to be a lot of, first of all, the thing that strikes you is this is a very intellectual, scientifically minded woman. But there's a lot of speculation as far as planar travel and particularly the elemental plane of air. She seems fascinated with. And there are a few just, random, notes about, the habits of the crew, things of that variety. But nothing that stands out as being particularly scandalous.
Unless this is the information that they came for. Now that's saying that in these notes involve some information about how to travel to the ethereal plane of air. Is that what you said?
The elemental plane of air.
Elemental plane of air. Now, what if the Sahuagin wanted to make an invasion from water to the elemental plane of air, and this contained crucial information to do so?
I mean, wouldn't they need to return to water at some point in order to survive? When the elements,
That's what they did.
Well, yeah, they did. But if they're going into like the elemental plane of air, then they wouldn't be able to last very long there, would they?
Correct, but I don't know if they did. You were saying?
Well, first of all, based on the fact that the drawer was locked and didn't appear to be tampered with where you found this, if this is what they were after, they did not find it.
Okay.
That being an important bit of information, but yes, based on what limited info you have on the planes, the elemental plane of air is just what it sounds like. It's a huge expanse of sky with no or very few land masses, and standing water is almost unheard of on the elemental plane of air. So it would be a problem for Sahuagin in terms of survival there.
So I want to do two things. Can I look to see if this book has any invisible ink?
How are you going to go about doing that?
Well, I have matches in my explorer's pack.
Okay. So you're going to backlight
Then
the
I can
pages?
use that to heat it. What was that?
You're going to try to heat it up with the matches?
Yes, and see if it reveals anything.
If you set the notebook on fire, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
That said,
Phrasing.
what kind of roll would this be?
Investigation.
Sure, roll me an investigation. There does not appear to be any invisible ink in this book. You do manage to get the match close to, as you're flipping through the pages looking for stuff, you manage to get the match close enough to that you're fairly certain there's nothing there, but, not set the book on fire.
So I believe that it's possible there's information in there that'll mean something to someone else. I think we should take the book on our investigation.
Okay. So, but if we take the book, this is obviously something that somebody wanted to keep hidden and well away from, strangers' eyes. If we take the book, then she'll know it's gone when she goes back to writing.
And we'll say we had the captain's permission to investigate.
But not steal.
Borrow.
Fine, we will borrow the book momentarily, but
You're not playing chaotic neutral very well.
I understand that, but I'm chaotic neutral to a point that I know when it's smart to steal something and when it's not smart to steal something. And this is not a smart situation to borrow, quote unquote, somebody else's journal because they know it'll go missing.
Ben, roll me a perception. I will roll one for
Yeah.
Nana. You hear somebody coming, like approaching the doorway. Ben, sorry. Thorgrim hears this, and Nana does not.
Man, what is wrong with me and my perception?
You did actually. Let me roll, just to be fair. Oh, good grief. Yeah, you see exactly who it is. You happen to just be standing at an angle where you look through the door, and you see this woman, who some of you will recognize, approaching.
Okay, you meaning me or you meaning Ben?
Meaning Thorgrim. Yes, you actually don't notice anything. So this is basically... her skin and hair are both like alabaster white, like almost she's an albino, but her eyes are kind of like a ice blue. She wears kind of brass rimmed spectacles, and she is basically walking right toward the quarters where you are.
I'm going to hold the book squarely in my hands and face the door so I get good eye contact with her when she comes through it.
She comes through the door. It takes her a while to actually even notice that you're there. When she does, she just kind of like gapes. What are you doing? What?
We're investigating on behalf of the captain. We need to know what the sea monsters were trying to do when they came below decks.
And that has what to do with my private notes exactly?
We'd like you to tell us then. What are the applications of this information? How could they benefit the sea monsters?
You seem to be implying that I have some sort of insider knowledge of what the aspirations of the aquatic beasts are. I'm sorry, who are you?
Ogren Steelvein, cleric of the Dwarf God. I'm
Why do you
investigating on
always have
behalf
to give?
of the captain.
Why do you always have to give your full name and all of your information whenever you're introducing yourself? Just give your first name. Hi, I'm Anana. Nice to meet you. We're going to take the journal if you can't tell us why you have it or what information it could be of use to them.
You know what? I'm just going to say what she just said.
She kind of like pinches her forehead and shakes her head. I don't know what you're seeking to find here. I don't know why you suspect that simple notes on what I'll have you know as my heritage have anything to do with this monster attack that you speak of. They're not monsters, they're people, to be honest. They're barbaric people, but people nonetheless.
Oh, so you're a sympathizer. All right.
They're Democrats.
You read whatever you like into my words. I'm not the one...
That was the sound of sympathy, was it not?
That is the sound of objective fact, is what that is, and that is what I'm concerned with. Now, if you wish to go throwing allegations around, it's no business of mine. However...
No, not necessarily allegations.
I wish that Captain Farley had consulted with me over this. Maybe it's the stress, maybe it's the pressure, but he has not been himself lately.
Oh. In what way?
It's difficult to put a finger on it, really, but... You said you said that you were investigating for him. What specifically do you expect to find?
We're just trying to find exactly what they were looking for, or perhaps if they placed something within the ship. But we suspect that they were looking for something in particular, and we're just trying to figure out what exactly that was. If you have any information or if you saw anything, it would be helpful. But I understand if you have
As
no clue. It just means
I'm not certain that I've seen anything of note. Of course, I mean there was a conflict. How could one miss that? Let me roll a few things for her.
and I apologize if I'm not being like super in character like I was last time. I'm just
You're driving, and you need to focus on driving. I understand. So that
I'm
would be
trying to be
that.
chaotic neutral, but I can't think deadly when I'm trying to pay attention to the road. I can't do it.
Well, chaotic neutral does not necessarily mean antisocial and stupid either. So I think you're playing it fairly
no,
smart.
I'm not necessarily. I'm not necessarily like stupid, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely antisocial.
Okay, so that was that, and now we need to roll her a... Oh, she's good at this one. Yeah. As far as the specifics of what happened during the conflict, afraid I can ascertain little information that you don't already know. They boarded using those spears attached to ropes. Very common trick among their people, but these are typically servants of the shark goddess. They have a natural empathy with sharks. They are known to be highly aggressive species. They are known to prey in particular on the sea elves, but really all aquatic races and of course piracy against ships is not unheard of with them either. The method of their boarding seems to suggest something of the sort. Although, why if piracy was their motive, why was nothing taken and nothing destroyed?
Question.
Yes.
Isn't one of the players in this game a sea elf?
Yeah,
That's correct.
She is. But do we know that she's a seal?
She called herself a sea elf back when I was something.
Did she do that in character,
I
Deshauna?
thought so.
No, I said no, but remember the elf guy that came up to her, or was he if he was a half elf? I don't remember.
Oh yes, yeah, the hunter guy.
He said about her not looking well, and she was saying about she was just nervous. It was her. She didn't know she was a seal.
So it was not directly
Okay, but-
stated, but it was implied that she was a seal.
Pretty obvious.
Okay. So read into that
I mean,
what
it's
you
pretty
will. I'm
obvious
not
she is,
sure
and
whether
she
you were
looked at-
even there for that conversation in character, but
We were
but
all
that
pretty
said,
spread out when that conversation was going on.
that said, I am going to roll, and you may roll me, Ben, a history to see if you recognize her as such. Yeah, you do, Thorgrim. This is what you get for having me roll for you, by the way, Nana. But Thorgrim, you do recognize that that Talia is a sea elf.
So I have a new theory. Sahuagin came just to kill a sea elf. And they didn't find her, so they left. And that explains the weird search pattern. Like, it's obvious if we see it, you know.
Well, they did
But-
see her. There were several of them attacking her.
But I
Maybe
mean
those
downstairs,
particular
you know,
ones didn't. I don't know. Yeah, that's
Right.
possible, I guess.
And we drove the ones off of her. Okay.
I mean, is there another sea elf on board?
Not that you've seen, no.
Okay.
Imagine the one sea elf could tell us.
And that one sea elf at this point has headed off to her quarters.
Storm the quarters!
Already in her,
Storm
or
them.
already in her quarters.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's been in her quarters for a while at this point. Probably
How many
is.
hours left in that rest?
Well, the good. Oh. Yeah, let's see. So it has been. I'm going to say it's been about 2 hours at this point. You guys spent a good long time searching the holds and stuff. Basically, for most characters would be about a quarter of the way through a full rest. for any elven characters would be about half, because elves trance and not sleep.
So we can wait 2 hours and then wake her.
Or we
Or we
could
can just wake
wake
her.
her up now.
That's the right plan.
I think we just wake her up now and call it a day. If
I
she's
agree.
moody, we'll get her a cup of coffee. Like,
I agree.
So at this point, Sarah, who you assume this must be, kind of holds her hand out and said, may I have my journal back? It's
I
rather...
give back the book and I say thank you for all of your help. I'm sure the
you-
captain will appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. And she basically kind of heads into her quarters, and you guys head out, I assume.
okay, yeah.
So you're going to, do you guys know where Talia sleeps?
But we
I
can
would say
always
you
find
probably
out.
don't, because you've just met each other, right? I mean, none of you knew each other beforehand, right?
No.
Right. We pretty
Yeah.
much met each other during the attack. And remember,
You would have seen her basically head down off of the prow and into this door there, but beyond that, you're not sure which quarters would be hers.
Well, in a way, it's kind of fitting that Thorgrin knows about Taya being a self, because Thorgrin was fighting next to her with some of those.
Yeah.
to
Well, I
help
mean,
her get- to
it's
help
not.
get
It's not
to
like this.
Treasure.
It's also not like this is the first time you've seen each other's characters out of combat. You just haven't been, formally introduced to each other prior to this.
Right.
Right.
So, where do you go from here? Do you just start knocking on doors or opening doors?
Yes.
Well, we'll just open doors. There's no sense in knocking. Everybody's asleep.
Any particular order you're going in?
I don't know. Thorgrin will take one door, and I'll take the door opposite. That way, we,
So you're
spend less time
starting at the first doors you come to.
Oh yeah, but you only got one skeleton key, so how like do one door and then the opposite door both at the same time?
Well, I'll just open that door, and then I'll walk over to the other one and open that one if he decides.
All right. So we. Just speeding this up a little bit. Are you guys knocking at all, or are you just popping the doors open with the skeleton key?
We're just popping doors open.
Okay.
It is life or death. Yes.
We might as
So
well not
Perry,
witness
I would
the
like you to make me
entire
a
ship.
perception check at a disadvantage.
Me?
Perry.
All right.
Okay, there you go.
Perception.
Okay, yeah, so, Inanna, why don't you roll me a, I assume you're trying to do this quietly.
I can't roll you anything.
Yeah, okay, are you trying to do this quietly?
Yes.
Okay, force of habit, I apologize. If I ask you to roll something, I really mean I'm going to roll this for you. So yeah, Perry, you sleep through this, but basically, Inanna, you open this door up, and Perry, I'm going to let you describe what she sees as you're sleeping.
She sees 2 beds in the room, and I'm sleeping on one. The other is completely empty, and I'm just completely knocked out. But my eye is open out to the world.
Yeah. You guys may have seen this before during the battle and or during the interaction, but if not, I'm going to describe it to you now. So Perry, he's got his left eye is natural, looks like a normal parrot eye. His right eye, which normally is covered by the patch, is just obviously fake. It is this amber-colored, what looks like a glass sphere. And instead of a pupil, it's actually got like an arcane diagram, like a magic circle sort of thing.
I want to poke it. I won't, but I'm tempted to poke it.
All right, so you shut the door?
Yeah.
Okay. Open the one across from there. Who is in this room? Because it's not claimed by any of you guys.
So what? Probably the noblewoman and her husband or whatever sleeping in separate beds because that's what married couples.
I think their room was down.
I believe that's what married couples do all the time. I mean,
Oh yeah. They don't sleep
I
in the
love
same
Lucy
bed.
can't be wrong.
Right. No. What would I know about?
You
being
actually,
married?
so you open this door. Go ahead and roll me. Let me roll you another stealth check. See, I told you this is going to happen all the time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm honestly just like waiting for my exit. 'Cause
Okay.
I have.
Why is this? There we go. Okay. Yeah. So you open the door, and there's basically there is a halfling family in here. There is the what looks like a mother and a little girl are sleeping, kind of basically. Little girl is kind of in the bed next to her mother, just kind of like wrapped in her arms. There is actually at a desk next to the door. There is a wake, a male halfling. Actually, guess I should show you all these guys too. So that is you. This is what you would assume to be the father. Kind of short cropped hair. Perry would recognize this guy, but you guys don't. Kind of short cropped beard. Not smoking a pipe at this point, but. And then mother is over here. And this is her with her eyes closed. And then this is the little girl right here.
Okay. Does the halfling father notice me?
Let me go ahead and roll a perception for him. Which means I need to open the sheet, I guess. Let's see, that would be a wisdom. At this point, it looks like he is just basically kind of like flipping through a book by candlelight. He doesn't appear to have noticed you.
Okay. I will quietly shut the door.
Okay, you shut the door, and then you move on to the next. I would say, based on your approach, the next room that you are going to go ahead and roll me another stealth, or I'll roll you another stealth. Quiet as a ninja. At this point, Talia, roll me a perception with disadvantage.
Perception with disadvantage.
Yes. As you are sound asleep. Yeah, you do not notice this. You open the door, and Talia, I will let you describe what you see.
When you open the door, you see Elf laying in the bed. Her hair isn't in the braid at the moment, so you can tell even with her hair out of the braid, it still comes down. It would still come down a fair way. You can't tell how far down because of how she's laying down. She has a lute by her, holding onto it, and what would you call it for her being able to see what the lute's made out of? Because the way I'd be holding it, I don't think she'd be able to get a good look right away.
Call that a perception, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, I would say that's enough. Because you're not obviously actively trying to hide it because you're asleep.
Right.
And that's going to be yeah. So yeah, you do notice that this lute is made of a turtle shell, essentially.
Right. And you also notice she does have a amulet one, but you're not too sure what it's. If it's just like an heirloom or something she always had.
Sorry.
I'm in the same room as Inanna, looking at the same musical instrument and amulet that she's looking at. I want to. I'm suspecting either of those could be things that relate to the mission of the sea monsters. Can I investigate? What do I know about those by looking at them?
Just by glancing at them from where you are at the door?
Yeah, I mean, I can't put my hands on them.
You're not trying to go in there and,
do whatever kind of investigation you
inspect them is what I'm getting at. Okay. Because that would definitely be a perception check for Deshauna, to be sure. That said, that would be a... First of all, make me a perception roll. See how good of a look you really get at these things. Yeah, I mean, you see that she's wearing a necklace. You see that she's got this lyre. Obviously, you saw that before when she was up on deck. But you don't really see any, details of them from where you are. Remember, it's dark in here, and even the dark vision is somewhat limited and won't tell you color and things like that.
Right.
No, it might be nicer if you were to wake her rather than me.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. But
She was
right.
offended.
Not okay. So I'll go over to Talia and
Toss a bucket of cold water on her head.
what?
Toss a bucket of cold water on her head that you just happen to have on hand.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
No,
Let's do that.
You don't have a bucket of cold water. I'm joking.
I will shake her awake. No gentle poking. No.
Okay,
hello,
so Talia, you
anything,
find yourself
shake her
shaken awake, and you look up, and you also have dark vision, so you have no trouble seeing that this is Inanna from before. I don't know if she ever introduced herself to you, but anyways.
No, I didn't.
The scary skull violin lady from before.
Yeah.
Of course, she probably let go. After shaking me, she probably let go after I woke up.
Yeah. Sure. I definitely get that.
Yeah, I'm just quick jump back, grab the spear, which, if you get a good look at it with how I'm holding it, it doesn't seem like a full length spear.
Okay.
That's what she said.
So you're going for your weapon.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. Of course, I'm not swinging it. I'm just holding it out, like trying to keep her away.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Inanna, you do see her going for her weapon, and doesn't look like she's like attacking you with it, but definitely has a defensive posture. Thorgan, you see this as well.
I asked her, tell her she's in no danger. We're investigating on behalf of the captain. Do you know any reason that the Sahuagin would want to capture you, or your instrument, or your amulet?
I don't. I was just as surprised as everyone else was when the attack happened.
Where do those things come from?
I don't know full details. I know they're loyal to the shark goddess, obviously.
Wait, say that again?
I know they're loyal to the shark goddess.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Was that your TARDIS?
What?
I don't like your
my
TARDIS.
My tires hit a rumble strip.
It's
So it just kind of made that noise. Sorry.
It's alright.
So, are you forming a connection between the shark goddess and your possessions?
No. But the odd thing is the symbol they had, it was not the shark goddess's symbol.
What was the symbol?
What was it again, Jay?
It was basically a black spiral, essentially. It looks like almost like the outline of a seashell, but it was just like hanging on a little thong of what you would assume is like kelp leather or some kind of like sea hide leather from the spearhead. Did you actually? Somebody identified what that actually was. Was that you?
I think so.
I think it was either you or Anana, so I'm going to go ahead and give you this information anyways. But that was basically the one of the symbols of the elder god Kelvar Shanuth, who is basically the god of the primordial void. He's the god of madness, the void, which is known as the beyond.
Well, okay, so I know that information based off of the little worm thing. That's basically what was going on in that situation. But I didn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't the
with
one
the
to recognize that symbol.
yeah, I think it was
Talia.
Talia. Thank you. That recognized the symbol. But you would definitely well, first of all, Deshaun, are you imparting that information?
Yeah.
Okay. So you recognize now, Anana, basically that while no specifics were given, that worm thing did mention that you would serve the purposes of Kelvar Shanuth.
Difficulties.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a new theory.
So
Captain is gone.
Oh, well, I guess I was just gonna disclose the information that was the, like the worm or the creature that had invaded me, had mentioned something of this god. But go ahead.
I think the captain is under the influence of Kalbar Shanuth, and it has to do with, I don't know what the in-game is, but I think that's the connection. I think the captain is being slowly taken over by Kalbar Shanuth, and the creatures were there to infect everyone on the ship for some larger purpose.
Okay, so you think that somehow one of those creatures made its way into the captain as well? Because
I don't know how he got there.
When would that have happened?
Before the story started.
What?
Somehow this is going to be the last ship that ever goes to Lazmir.
Oh, you know what though? When, like, out of character, when Perry had stabbed one of the creatures, that same black worm came out. So possibly from that.
No,
we didn't see that situation happen.
It didn't come out, but was visible.
I believe Perry also disclosed this information. In fact, I'm sure he also disclosed this information.
Yeah, he did when we were talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so
that's how you guys were
whenever-
basically able to ascertain that, okay, maybe this person has a worm inside of them.
Right. So maybe from that one, whenever he saw it, because he did slice the guy open, so it means that that creature definitely could have come out. But we don't know if it enters the captain or not, and that's going to be a really tricky situation to try and get the captain to lay down, and we're going to be like, yeah, we're going to run a couple tests on you to see whether or not you're invaded by this worm creature. He's not exactly
Have
going
a
to come out
solution.
willingly.
Have a solution.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you at all.
He said he has a
Anyone hear
solution.
me?
I can hear you.
I can't.
It's probably, I probably have bad connection right now.
Are you hearing me,
So,
Vanessa?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just Ben keeps cutting out. And now okay. I thought I couldn't hear anyone for a second. I was like,
Yeah, no, we're still here. It's just nobody's saying anything. So, Ben, could you repeat what you said?
Okay, first of all, I have a question and I have a course of action. Is Perry with us in the room?
No, Perry is still asleep.
No, I'm still asleep.
Okay.
Actually, Perry, at this point, you may make me
Would we know?
another perception check with disadvantage.
Okay. So does that mean that I'm not going to be at full health anymore?
Yeah, you're not going to... Unfortunately, we're rewinding the clock a little bit at this point. If anything is happening that involves that, you're going to have to try to remember where your health pool and stuff was at.
Yeah, I don't
Do your
remember.
best. Do your best.
Stuff. But, I have a feeling that he would just be like, hear you, and then he'd just like, nope, I'm going back to bed.
Anyways, you do not wake up.
Okay, good.
The conversation in the next room, you're tuckered out. You've had a big day of stealing and fighting nasty worm things and fish people.
Would we have any reason to wake him and make him join us?
I mean, we could just wake up all the party. That way, they're all just about as damaged as we are.
I was told we were not a party.
Yeah, you guys just
No,
met each
we're-
other
we're-
yesterday, pretty much.
We're an unparty, okay? We're an unparty.
Okay. I think that it's important that we don't wake up Perry.
Well, it's your turn, so.
I'd like to shake him and try to wake him.
Okay, you can definitely... assuming you unlock the door again with the skeleton key. Actually, no, the door would still be unlocked because technically nobody's locked it. So yeah, you can open the door, shake him awake. Perry, you do not have dark vision, correct? Or do you?
I don't think so now.
So yeah, you find yourself shaken awake by what feels like coarse armored
I
hands.
stab him because I'm used to people attacking me.
You have a knife at hand?
I probably I don't know. I'd probably just use my sword and have that constantly.
So you sleep with your
held.
sword.
I don't know if I have an actual knife.
I would say it's more reasonable that you would sleep with like a dagger, within reach, versus trying to have an actual cutlass in bed with you.
Talons. I'll just do that.
Okay, you can scratch him with your talons. Go ahead and make me an attack roll. I don't think. You wouldn't be using your shield, so actually that does hit. Manages to somehow. But you would be at disadvantage because of darkness. So never mind. That means we roll severity.
Shit.
Oh no.
What happens here? You in a panic, kind of lash out with your talons. You knock over basically a oil lamp that is sitting on the nightstand, basically, as you swing, and it just makes this loud clatter because it's this metal object just bouncing around the floorboards.
Is he awake now?
He's definitely awake.
We need your help.
And now I'm reaching for my sword because
We need your help. Heard out that the sea monsters were doing something on the ship that has to do with elder gods.
Roll me another
We'd
perception,
like
Perry.
your help.
What am I
Perry, roll
rolling?
me another
Who's
perception,
going?
please. No, actually, roll me an insight.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just.
You do recognize that this voice, after you kind of have, blinked yourself awake, you recognize this voice belongs to the dwarf from before.
I guess I'm gonna say something like, "Look, man, do what you want. I don't care. All I'm here for is to make sure that I deal with certain. I'm just here to take care of some things."
Tell me what that thing in your eye is, please.
What?
Tell me what that thing in your eye is, please.
Oh, it's just a fake eye. It helps me see better because of the fact that I lost my eye.
Does it have special powers?
I mean, I have better perception than most. But that's about it.
Can I detect magic or anything related to his eye?
Let me see if that's something that you can do.
Might even just be some other kind of check. Anyway.
Well, first of all, let's see if you have an actual spell for it, because that would be the easy way to go about that.
What is identify?
Well, identify you could definitely do. By the way, the thing I forgot to do when making your character, you should have in your inventory a 100 gold piece pearl that is used as basically the focus for the identify spell. So you should basically 100 gold pieces of your wealth should be devoted to that, and it's not, but we're going to say that it is. But yes, you can use identify if you suspect that it's magical, and based on this description, that's a reasonable assumption. Beyond that, it would be basically an Arcana check.
I'm just me in the other room having some girl talk.
In other words, you stayed with Talia.
That girl talk
Yeah,
apparently
I
had to do with
with
turning
Talia.
left on Evans Road.
I'll start telling her the grotesque
What happened?
story about how I made my my bone violin. That's my version of girl talk.
No, I figured that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you share the grotesque
Okay.
version of how you made your turtle shell? Did you make your turtle shell lyre, first of all?
Most likely, yeah.
So you're going to share that tale in return?
Okay.
Not going to reveal too much. Just probably tell her that I found the turtle. Figured it would make a good instrument and created it from that.
Right,
Yeah,
anyways.
I made this bone violin out of my mother.
Excuse me.
It's not true, but she doesn't know that.
Actually, what would
Excuse
I roll?
me.
I didn't know.
I guess
Hello?
it would be
Yes.
insight if you were trying to figure out
Hello?
whether it was true or not.
Yes.
You would roll insight.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
I can hear you.
Okay, so you didn't tell me what happened with identify.
I didn't know you were casting it.
Oh, I said I did, then I pressed it.
Okay, then that's the part that cut out on me. And I don't see the actual spell, but in any case, I know what the spell does.
Can I do it again?
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Now that I know what you're doing, I can tell you.
Okay.
Let me actually pop open Perry's sheet here because I may have forgotten the details of this thing.
Let me try that insight real quick.
Thank God I don't have to work.
So you recognize this, or the spell rather elucidates this to you. This is an item called the Eye of Lepidandrian. It is basically attuned. It is attuned to a person by placing it in an empty eye socket. It basically, like he said, it gives him much sharper vision when it is exposed. He is also able to close his natural eye, and basically he can detect magic, and also he can see invisibility.
Okay. How much gold do I have?
So
Where's the
you
book?
should have basically 115. Your sheet says 215, but again, I forgot to account for that pearl.
Okay. Harry, I can see you have no personal investment in correcting evil. I'm going to give you a small bribe if you will come and bring your eye. What I want to do is I want to bring the items that we have that could be connected to the Sahuagin or to the Elder Gods in the presence of the captain, give back his key, and watch his reaction. I believe that if he is infested with an Elder God, that he will be unable to not respond to the items we bring him, and I want your eye watching what happens, and I want you to tell me what you see. In exchange for 50 gold.
He's speaking your
50
language.
gold. Make it 100.
60.
He wants money. He wants a lot of money. He's gonna try
60.
and 90.
65.
85.
70.
Make it 75.
72.
I won't go. I won't go lower than 75.
$74 and won't tell Nana what's in your cloaca.
What? What'd you say?
You heard me, Bird.
Trust me, I don't think you want to be messing with me.
Already did.
What? Okay, sorry guys.
It's all right.
Make it 75, and I'll help you.
75.
We have a
Pleasure doing
deal.
business with you. Pleasure doing business with you. So, I would like to suggest to the remainder of the group that we'll go back to the captain, and we're gonna. I want to get back his key like I promised. But what I want to see is the captain seeing the loot and seeing the amulet and possibly the eye, and see if the elder god I suspect is in there or related to it is in there. I think it's going to react.
Okay.
So, you're with me, guys?
Yeah.
Thanks, kid.
By the way, did I was able to tell what Anana said wasn't true?
Oh, okay. Going back to that. Are you guys both comfortable with rolling this out? Because again, I don't like doing these rolls, player versus player.
I re-rolled the insight because she was saying about making the bone violin from the bones of her mother. I rolled insight to see if it was true or not.
So Vanessa, are you okay with rolling deception to see if you convince her?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. No, I will go ahead and roll it. I told you I'm going to be doing this all the time. As soon as I find your sheet. Okay. Deception.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very believable.
Ah.
Oh, it's a good way to keep her with you then.
Oh no, it wasn't for that reason.
So we're walking to the poop deck.
Yeah, we're gonna walk to the
You would assume that was the last place you saw him, anyways.
Yeah.
So, who haven't I picked on yet? Perry, high or low?
High.
He is in fact still there with the pilot. So, go ahead and move those of you that can't move.
Where are we going? Yeah.
Bottom left, basically. And then grab you.
This energy drink is not working.
There. Okay.
Yeah. So you basically, as before, you see him basically essentially at the shoulder of the pilot. He kind of looks quickly in your direction. Well, lads, have you discovered anything? Excuse me, lad and lass.
Well, Captain, I thank you for letting me borrow your keys. We had a fruitful investigation. We think that...
He kind of starts stepping over toward you.
Something very dangerous may be aboard on this ship. I hand over the keys slowly.
Okay, he takes it.
Make sure.
He takes it.
Look over to make sure that Talia is making sure that the amulet and loot are clearly visible.
Oh, she's carrying it.
Yeah. Good job.
Okay. We roll something for the captain. He kind of looks he looks curiously at Talia and at Perry. Doesn't look like he's actually roll me a insight, I guess, those who want to.
I'll give it a
Go
shot.
ahead and roll me one.
Rolling an insight.
Okay.
Oh, that was bad.
Insight. Boop.
So yeah, he looks over at Talia and Perry. Doesn't look particularly like he's focused on the magic items at all, but the items of interest, I should say, at all. He nods and says, "Yes, you were also quite instrumental in the battle. Well played, my good people."
I did my best.
You're welcome.
So would an Arcana check help me to know if there was something unusual here?
It would help you to know if there was some kind of spell effect going on or something of that variety. You may make one if you
Let's
like.
try that.
You don't notice anything out of the ordinary, no.
I'm not trained in it, so I don't know if I should give it a shot.
Let's
up to
try
you.
something.
I'll give it a shot anyway, just to say.
Yeah, you also don't notice anything of note magical wise.
Has the pilot laid eyes on the magical items yet?
Roll me a perception. He is not. He appears to be focused on just steering the ship where it needs to go.
He's just focused on the ship.
Yep.
Talia, can you find an excuse to walk in front of the pilot?
Are you
Just
asking
say-
her this in character?
Just saying hello to him. Fight me.
Because you're wearing the magical items.
The captain kind of lifts an eyebrow as you're saying this.
I'm opening up my. I'm gonna do my scan now, just to see every single magical item in the room.
So you're doing your detect magic.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we got here? Obviously, the items that are on the party members are glowing. That are your various magic items. The pendant is glowing. The lyre is not. At least I don't think the lyre is glowing. Did we ever decide what your other magic item actually was?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I
well
didn't
then-
make the lyre magical.
For the time being, the lyre is not glowing. The violin is glowing. And what else did we give her? Oh, Inanna's bag is glowing. And then Thorgrim's hammer is glowing. And also his armor is glowing.
So nothing that was on the that was on the captain or
Nothing on the captain or the
pilot?
pilot, no, or the ship. Or this area of the ship, I should say.
So it's just us. Okay.
It's just you, yeah.
All
I
right.
don't
I'm
know
gonna.
what my other magic item is.
Your other magic item is the bag.
Oh. Is it Mary? I'm Mary Poppins.
You're the scariest Mary Poppins ever.
Yeah, that is
Thank you.
true. She is definitely the scariest.
If anything, I would think she was more Nanny McPhee.
Hmm.
Before the
Or Mrs.
transformation,
Doubtfire.
or- Mrs. Doubtfire didn't have that magical bag.
That is
Depends on
true.
where you look.
Oh. Oh. All right then. Suppose you consider
So,
that a magical bag.
were you able to unearth anything of note? Says the captain.
That these creatures were not serving the shark god, but rather dark elder gods. And we need to, and we remember the name, but I don't remember how to say it.
Kelvarshanuth. Yeah. You say the name, yeah.
That
Indeed.
name ring
Most
any bells?
It was the
curious.
symbol.
Well, let me roll something for him. Can't say as it does. No, it doesn't sound like any of the typical sea gods that these things might worship.
It wasn't. Yeah, but we said about the.
Oh yes, about
Yeah.
the elder god. Yes, and he does not. He appears to be genuinely baffled by this.
Any reaction from the pilot when we had mentioned when the name was mentioned?
Well, let's see. Roll me an insight.
Say.
He kind of raised a brow a little bit when the name was mentioned. Kind of looked over curiously, like you got his attention.
Of course, the captain did say about it not being a like typical sea gods they would worship.
Right, and you know this as well.
Yeah, I was just like, it wasn't. Of course, I do explain what I remembered from my travels because you said I remembered about what he was the god of through my travels.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you had read in a book somewhere about this thing, this god.
Pilot, what is your heritage?
Heritage. I'm I give him a heritage. Hang on.
You better have.
Of course, and you already said we know that the.
I'm from West Brunswick, actually.
West Brunswick.
West Brunswick. It's right next to East Brunswick.
So you're in BFE then?
BFE.
Bumfuck Egypt.
Not
Middle of
sure.
nowhere.
I'm not sure what that sort of fornication or what it has to do with it, or what Egypt is, but
I'd like to roll to see if he's lying to me.
you may do so. Insight. No, he is not lying to you.
Teleportation was a real thing. A good driving. There's nobody in front of me. I'll turn my bright spot.
It was odd that they had that symbol, though.
Huh?
Yes, I'm certain it means something. What it does mean, I'm unaware.
And if one of them had those, and if one of them, perhaps all of them, had those creatures within them, it makes me wonder if they were controlling them, or.
Sorry, did you say creatures?
Of course, I remember we saw the thing, but I do try to explain as best I can what it looked like.
Disturbing. To say that these things were inside the Sagan?
Yes.
Did
makes
you-
Yes,
you-
only
you-
inside the Sagan.
Do you
Only
just
inside of them.
are you mentioning anything about Inanna at this point?
No, we're not.
The person who is talking, are you mentioning anything about Inanna at this point?
No, I'm not. I'm not actually gonna say it.
Well,
No, I wouldn't
Daishana.
say it either.
So you just mentioned the word things are inside of these things and
Right.
nothing else. Okay.
Yeah. It seems like either they were controlling them, Or it didn't take much to push them towards what they did.
Well, that is disturbing news to say the least. We have disposed of all the bodies. He looks over at the pilot and is like, I believe so. Yes, they were dumped overboard, I believe, as soon as the battle was over.
Good. It just means that with luck, we can probably find out more as we go, but I'm unsure how much more we can find out.
I'm like struggling to hear what you say because you're so soft when you make that voice.
She, in character, supposed to be soft. She's supposed to be
I guess what we're saying is, could you try to be soft a little bit louder on account of the person that's in a moving vehicle?
All right.
I'm sorry. I know
can.
that in character she's supposed to be soft spoken. I'm just like, I'm really struggling to hear you. I'm really sorry.
It's all right. I understand. I'll do what I can to be a little louder so you can hear.
I appreciate it.
Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, she's like, I don't know how much more we'll find out on the ship. But as we go, although I'm not sure how much more.
I'm not sure I quite caught that.
So, she looks over at Dorgan, although he had some ideas that they could have either been looking for something or leaving something behind.
Me? Yes. Now, a possibility would be some kind of, let's say, a nest of those worm creatures designed to spawn and take over the ship. Is there any sort of thing that I could do that would hurt or intimidate just elder god-related monsters and not hurt any of the other creatures?
Yeah, if you're talking about, Ben, like just area effects that will target creatures that worship elder gods and not other creatures, no. There is, of course, we discussed last time, protection from evil and good, which will protect a given creature against certain effects from these type of creatures. There's, of course, remove curse, which you would use to excise it from Inanna. But beyond that, that's pretty much about as far as your abilities go to affect these things.
Hmm.
And you do recall from the use of Remove's Curse that there was some damage to Inanna in the process.
I'm just as damaged on the outside as I am on the inside.
Aw. Stop bragging.
What? Stop bragging?
Stop bragging. Joking.
Oh. Yeah. Well, sorry, I can't help it. When I've got such, internal treasure, I just have to share it with the world. Almost there. Damn it.
At this point, the captain is kind of looking around you. Says, "Is there anything else that I can do for you?"
No, sir. We thank you.
Actually, one more thing. Thorgren managed to lose like 75 gold in this investigation. Can he be reimbursed?
Okay. Where'd your sheet go, Anna?
Would this be persuasion?
Probably yes. I need to find your sheet though.
I've got great persuasion.
Oh, you know what? That probably got closed when I rebooted.
Wait.
And I'm just gonna be like, thank you for that, by the way. I'm not actually gonna say that.
All right. So roll under persuasion. That's pretty good. Let's see what he rolls. Oh, 75 gold. Is that all? And he kind of basically opens up a pouch in his belt, counts out the coins, hands them over to Thorgren. So go, Thorgren. You are back at
How much
115.
gold is in there?
Roll me a perception, I guess, with advantage because you have your eye exposed, right?
Yep. I don't even have my eye patch on there anymore because I was too tired to put it back on.
Okay.
Perception.
You can't tell.
Okay.
More than the 75, but beyond that. What's that?
Well, I know that Perry is considering theft.
I mean, you guys don't know that I'm considering theft.
Well, you are looking over at his pouch. Again, I'm going to leave this up to you if you want to resolve this in character, or if you want to resolve it via rolls.
Is he going to walk away, or is he going to try to steal?
I'm just walking away because I'm tired and I want to. And my character is tired and wants to go back to bed, and kind of feels like this whole thing was pointless.
You made 75 gold.
Huh?
You made money.
That is true. I did make money. Thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And Thorgren lost nothing.
This is a weird ebb and flow of currency here, but it works.
I mean, this is his last job, so he's gonna take as much money as he can.
All right, so Perry, you make your way back to the quarters, I assume?
Yep, going back to bed.
What's everybody else doing?
I'll probably go to bed.
Okay.
I have a question.
What's up?
Do you think that we're really close to the ending, or we have a whole nother week of play?
You have a good deal of content left. You're spending more in this phase than I thought that you would.
So my question is, if all the characters go back to sleep, are we basically going to wake up next week?
Well, we still keep playing.
It's 7 at this point. I could go up to 3 more hours if people want to go that long. It probably is not going to wrap up the adventure at this point, but we could move it into the next phase most likely. So I'll leave that up to you guys if you want to go longer or if you want to call it here.
I suggest. Well, okay.
What's everybody saying?
I'm going to call it a night.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sounds like then we'll go ahead and call this a shorter session and come back to it next week, which may make my Curse of Strahd group a little upset, but
I'm already upset. I want to play with my cat character again.
I know, and I'm looking forward to running something that's scripted by somebody that knows what they're doing too. But at the same time, I don't want to rush the end of this. So it seems like we're going to need to call this.
It was a lot of fun, you guys.
Seems like we're going to need to call this at some point. So let's go ahead and call it now, and then jump in the following morning next session.
There's a
Okay.
story at the bottom of this bottle and I'm not that.
This episode brought to you by copyright infringement.